Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News for Friday Night Livestream. Hope everyone's having a lovely evening. We've got patriots from all across the globe. Please do me a favor. Remember to like and share this broadcast. Help us break through the algorithm. Tonight, my guest is author and researcher and former Hollywood personality, Tiffany Fitzhenry. Tiffany broke out of the Hollywood mold because she saw what was going on. And tonight we're going to expose a whole bunch of it. There is an inextricable connection between the intelligence community, the military-industrial complex, and Hollywood. So please, everyone, do sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. The recent situation with CV-19 is reminding everyone of how easy things can go from bad to worse. Shortages of guns, ammo, toilet paper, and other essentials have strained the country and caused panic buying. The sad part is that 99% of Americans are unprepared for a catastrophic event. But this doesn't have to be you. And one of the best things you can invest in for your protection is a Patriot Survival Kit. The Patriot Kit contains everything you need when there's an emergency situation, like a natural disaster or a wilderness adventure. It perfectly fits for people who love hiking, hunting, wilderness survival, and more. It's a great gift idea for an outdoor adventurer, hiker, or camper. Limited supplies are available, and this is the very last chance to get yours at a discount before they sell out. So take advantage now and give you and your family the gift of power anywhere in the world. Please visit www.thepatriotkit.com and take advantage of their 50% off special. Once again, that's www.thepatriotkit.com. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Friday Night Livestream. Joining me tonight is my good friend, fellow researcher, Tiffany Fitzhenry. Tiffany, how are you tonight?
Hey, doing so good. How are you?
I am excellent, as always. I need to say, first of all, thank you to Susan Hall and Harris Bongo Ashley, both for joining the channel as members. Brian says, my wife's name is Jess. She was diagnosed 2 weeks ago with stage 4 mastitis cancer. Please pray for her, Patriots. God, Brian, I'm so sorry to hear that, buddy. Yes, everyone, please do keep Jess in your prayers. Keep us informed, too. Hopefully everything is okay. And Angela Rivers, thank you for that one up. I appreciate it. All right, so also Gaffer Anon says, what's your take on Jenna Jameson's tweet from 3 hours ago regarding children being rescued? I have to be honest with you, I haven't seen it. I haven't been on Twitter. But if she's got some evidence about children being rescued, I'm all for it. I'll have to check it out later. Grindstone Blades, thanks for joining. And Cindy Castro, 3 of us here red-pilled and social distancing in West Virginia. Love you, RP. Thank you. Love you guys, too. So, Tiffany, you used to be part of the Hollywood machine. Tell us a little bit about your history. Maybe not everybody here saw our last show together.
No, that's cool. I had a really intense sort of 5 years from 2012 to about 2017. So I don't know if that's 5 years or so, but
yeah, that's about right.
Where I wrote a series of different projects. I wrote a series of different pilots and scripts that got to this sort of upper echelon of contention between networks. So the pilots were, ABC, NBC, all of these places. So I was, in these rooms with these people and had the top agents, had, the top people, and had contact with all the top networks and executives, and really saw inside this beast in a way that, very few people ever do. And the things that I experienced when everything started to happen in 2017 with, just one after another, all of these people from Les Moonves to Harvey Weinstein, but, hundreds and hundreds, Brett Ratner and everyone, Louis C.K., it was just one after another, being revealed as having all of these perversions and just all of those weird pedophile tweets that were coming out. I just knew what was going on and what that was in a way that I knew, first of all, America didn't really understand. And I also knew nobody who knew what I knew was going to come out and tell them, because then they would lose their position. And I wasn't afraid to lose my position, because God was telling me very clearly that I was going to be set aside to build something new, that this wasn't going to be, that I wasn't going to help build this Babylon system, that I was going to help build what comes after it, essentially.
Sweet. And
that was very clear to me. And so I just started speaking out in a way that was very difficult for a lot of reasons personally, just in terms of, I'd spent 15 years getting to that point where I could go in any room, call up any network, and had the top agents and all this stuff. And most people don't throw that away, but I saw it for what it was. And so it's, part of a bigger system. I started to realize, even before I left, really what, I started to realize all the stuff that we're going to talk about tonight. I started to do this research. My whole thing is like stories and the importance of what stories are. And people don't think about it this way. We're trained and socialized to think entertainment, pop culture. We don't realize how powerful our stories are. And I knew, being in those rooms and being with those people, these are the gatekeepers of our stories. And it was absolutely mind-blowing, all of the agendas that I was being asked to write into things, all of the different things that I saw the effects in society and in culture. It was just like my soul couldn't do it. My soul wouldn't do it. And I wanted to just tell people instead and, break the spell and help people to understand and then build something new, really.
Now, when you say that, you understood what was going on, had you been asked to compromise yourself on a number of different occasions, and you just pushed on and you didn't allow yourself to be, turned into something lesser, or was it just that you had seen it happening around you? Because knowing you, I know that you didn't. So so obviously you have a lot of talent. So to make it as far as you did without having had to lie down on the casting couch or whatever it is that they're asking you to do, I'm just wondering, how did you make your way through that?
It wasn't until I got to meeting with the biggest producers and had the biggest agents that this stuff started to happen. And it was, gradual, but then it became sort of almost a frenzy where you're getting asked for nudes constantly. You're getting put into situations where producers want to reveal themselves to you, and they're asking you, can I do this act? Can I do this on you? And you're just like, I'm a writer. What is happening? And no, but why is this happening? And you start to understand, a lot of these people, Weinstein, for example, he's connected to intelligence. A lot of these people were connected to intelligence. And when you actually think about it, these are intelligence tactics. And we'll see in some of the documents that we look at later, how they blackmail an actress with information that they have. This is an FBI document that we'll look at later. And then you start to look at some of this weird behavior of these celebrities and all these news that leak all the time and all this different stuff that happens. And you should realize, these are just ways of manipulating people. So if I'd have let these producers do these things, if I'd have sent these nudes, if I'd have done this stuff, my husband wouldn't be very happy. I would be very easy to control. I'd be very easy to manipulate. Very easy, right? Anybody would be. You've got kids, you've got a family. And so it's not anything that isn't just age-old intelligence tactics, honestly. But people don't look at it that way, and they don't see it that way. But people who can control culture are assets, really.
Absolutely. And we're going to be talking about people specifically in the entertainment industry that we know are actual assets. So when people get compromised in this way, there's obviously no end to it. I mean, it doesn't just happen once and then they're like, okay, sweet, now you're part of the club. I mean, it's like, okay, great. Now what else can we have you do and what else can we force you to do? Because there's always something new that they want to push on people through culture. That's why Hollywood has this direct link.
Yeah. It does appear that people are always sort of leveling up. And, you know, I look at things differently. And I think most of us are all starting to look at things differently. You look at things like, you know, the basketball player, Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union coming out, you know, their child is now transgender, whatever. And this is a 10, 12-year-old. Mm-hmm. You get pretty clear about what we're looking at. It's sort of almost like, is this a point system? Are you trying to level up? Is this because you start to see that there's a hierarchy or there's things that seem to be encouraged because they're what the agendas are. They're trying to seed into the culture. And so if these cultural influencers will model these agendas, well, they're going to get, you know, the roles and they're going to get the sneaker deals and they're going to get, you know, it's not a mystery that the wealth in this world has centralized dramatically over the last 50 years mm-hmm. to a very tiny percentage of people. And it's kind of how this whole system works. You know, one hand feeds the other. You get the makeup deal, you get the perfume deal, you get this, you get that. And it's these certain people who are willing to do whatever it takes and they keep leveling up or whatever. It's just, but what it creates is a world of absolute slavery. Mm-hmm. It creates a world of mind slavery, cultural slavery, debt slavery. And these people too are slaves. They're slaves to this Babylonian system just as much as we are. They're, you know, selling their soul, but it's still a slave system.
So let's talk about how deep this runs, because I've always thought there must be some level of, you know, give and take between Hollywood and the intelligence community. You see certain movies like Zero Dark 30. Okay, Zero Dark 30 was, I believe, pretty directly made with the agency Clowns in America, because it was about a clown operation that took place. You know, and another movie is similar to that, but it's more than that. They're not just helping out when people want to shoot at Langley or if they want to shoot at Quantico. I mean, it's a lot deeper.
They have complete control of the script. When these producers, and we're going to show some of these production agreements, when these producers enter into an agreement with the agency, the Department of Defense, the Pentagon, they agree to, line by line, script control from these agencies. And it's everything. It's not just the parts of the script that apply to the military. And a lot of these scripts have nothing to do with the military. Mm-hmm. You know, there's so many projects that we'll go through in this, you know, like the Department of Defense database that literally have nothing to do with the military. And yet you've got these agencies and you've got these parts of our government, whether it's the FBI or the Pentagon, shaping the script in detail. And when you really sit back and you add it all up, it really just adds up to an absolute illusion that's been created for Americans.
I want to show some of these documents. The document that you're talking about there, the DoD database. So yeah. This is 63 pages of films. Do you know how far back this goes?
Oh, I don't know when this was created. So this is a lot of films in the 90s and early 2000s. I think it extends a little earlier than that and a little bit, you know, into the 2000s. It looks like it's just about a 20-year, it looks like about a 20-year period.
So you've got the name of the movie, obviously Saving Jessica Lynch. I can totally understand the government having a role in that movie. The movie Puppet Masters, though, that was a Robert Heinlein science fiction film. And then you've got the dates of contact with the production studio, and then the information it says that they provided. So for
look at the Puppet Masters. Look at the notes.
Yeah.
Provided script to Phil Strub. Okay, Phil Strub is like the head of this whole operation, informally, to get his opinion, since it involved slug-like aliens who try to take over the human race. It's like, this is, they're giving the scripts to our government because, well, what? Because it involved aliens? You would think movie producers could make a movie on their own and not have to consult the Department of Defense.
So
it's just weird.
So is the government taking ideas for films and bringing them to Hollywood and having them produce them?
That absolutely happens too. There was, up until very recently, a page on the Clowns in America website that gave ideas for screenwriters. If you would like to, a couple of years ago, I cracked this system, and I went to my reps and I was like, you guys, this is crazy. I started to do all this research, and look how involved the government is with films. And these guys were like, yeah, like, why don't you? And I was like, I feel like I need to tell people. And they're like, no, don't do that. Why don't you write a movie that, the Department of Defense would, you could rewrite, Stripes and sell it tomorrow. I was like, yeah, but I wouldn't be able, like my soul would break in half, and I would, combust into fire. And it's just this whole idea that, absolutely we would love to, they would love to make, I could tell you about 50 movies that you could write tomorrow and, have a very easy time getting made because the government wants them to get made about certain topics, certain subjects. Oh, absolutely. To the point, like I said, there was a page on their website up until just maybe 6 months ago, it was removed, that gave actual topics and actual files and actual things that they wanted movies written about.
That's insane to me. Let me just do a couple of quick thank yous. Thanks again, Gaffernon, Grindstone Blades, for joining. Cindy Castro. Navy Vet says, been waiting for the collab. RP, I have taken care of you today. Keck. I'll have to take a look at the notes. Nanette C says, heck yeah, my first live. Sorry I'm poor. It's okay, Nanette. I'm just glad you're here. Just watch a commercial if you get an opportunity. And make sure you like and share. Momo says, hello, greetings from Hong Kong. Hi, RP78, and my girl is getting better. I'm very glad to hear that. I know she was in the hospital. Coming home soon. Awesome. We look forward to seeing you. So now the relationship between Hollywood and the intelligence community, I mean, how is it fostered? You had said that there was an office, like a liaison office between like the Clowns in America and Hollywood?
There is, and it's not a hidden thing. It's an address and it's physical office. There's multiple of them. So in 1947, the Pentagon, Department of Defense, I guess, whatever, set up the Office of Film Liaisons in Hollywood. And then later, the Clowns were there all along, but officially set up an office in 1996, officially. And you could see a dramatic change. One of the very first movies was The Recruit. One of the very first movies after the office was officially set up in the 90s was The Recruit. And it was, done with assistance, from the agency.
What is The Recruit? I've never heard of it.
So it was Al Pacino and Colin Farrell, where they go to the farm. They actually go they actually shot at the farm. And it's definitely worth watching because there's a lot of information in it, really. But what it is they're trying to shape the public's perception of the agency, because at the same time, there was a bill that was being presented for the second time by Moynihan, Senator Moynihan, to disband the CIA. Ah,
really?
Yeah. So it was right in 96, 95, that bill was presented. In 1996, they set up shop in Hollywood. And It's been a, very tight relationship ever since.
That's crazy. Need to say thank you to Logical Lisa. Thank you to Brian Foltz. Watch the movie I Still Believe. Wow. I don't know what that is, but maybe you can tell us about it in a second. Norma Jess says, how's it going? Thank you, Norma. And my buddy Robert from Crypto Beatles is here. Happy Good Friday, all. God bless everyone here. So many things going down behind the scenes. Looking forward to the unveil where we go one, we go all. And don't forget, I'm going to be on Crypto Beatles this Sunday, guys. If you can join us, that'll be awesome. I'm going to be sharing the link, just FYI, on the community tab later on tonight. So what is that movie? I Still Believe.
So I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to watch it. It's a faith-based movie. It's doing really, really well. It's a very emotional, very heartfelt movie, kind of like a love story kind of thing.
Okay.
And we're going to see what we've never seen before happen. There's going to be an absolute renaissance. Not only movies like this movie, it's a very heartfelt movie. There's been an absolute squelching of different types of things that will make people feel and make people, change society in good ways and positive ways. And that's, going to be a huge resurgence of that coming up in a big way.
Hollywood has, there's a huge audience for entertainment. Okay. We are surrounded by screens. People can consume more things on a daily basis than they ever thought possible before. And I've always thought it was just a terrible business decision for Hollywood to completely alienate more than half of the country. And I wondered why there was never a market for, films and television shows which had just good story and weren't pushing this propaganda on people to the public. But it makes so much sense now that we know that Hollywood and the intelligence community are working hand in hand. You look at a movie, I don't know, Will and Grace or something like that, did someone at the Clowns in America bring the idea to that for pilot and then get it made, and then the next thing you know, they're pushing that on popular culture?
Right. I could dig into that. I haven't dug into that, but I'm sure that the documents exist, and if they do, I'm going to find them. That's a great question, because there's absolutely, making money is not the objective. It's shaping culture, and nothing shapes culture and societies and civilizations more than stories. Nothing. And people don't know that, and they don't understand that. And we, again, like I said, we've been absolutely hijacked and brainwashed to believe pop culture, entertainment, these are just sort of optional things. These are just, it's whatever. It's not a big deal. It's just pop culture. That's such a lie. It's such a huge illusion, because we actually, as humans, are programmed by our stories. And that's not a bad thing, in that stories come from people who are artists, who are connected to God, and God's telling us what to write, and we're telling you the stories, and then society, that's how it's supposed to be. And that's why it was hijacked, because whatever you tell people through stories, they just do, and they act out, because we're programmed by them. We can't help it.
So it goes from fables and allegories about, character issues and, right from wrong, to turn us into puppets, which have, a good opinion of the clowns in America. There is so many options to choose from when we're talking about movies and television shows. I think we lost you there. Tiff, are you still there? Oh, hold on. I'm going to stop her video real quick. Tiffany, are you still there? Well, hold on, guys. Let me see. Let's see if this works. I think there must be something wrong with Tiffany's internet. We're going to give that just a second. Elena Shevchuk, thank you very much for that. Says you're the #1 fan. AJ Sturgis says, hey, Red, let me know how to sponsor the show. Todd Sturgis from Australia. Okay, Todd, email me redpill78@protonmail.com, and I'll put you in touch with my people, and we'll get it all set up. Chris Hawkins says, I love Jeremy Camp. Good evening, Tiff. Your face isn't there. My face isn't here. Oh, my goodness. Now it's there. Thanks, guys. Well, how did that happen? That's very strange. Okay, well, let me talk to Tiffany real quick and see if we can't get her back on the show. Oh, let's see. All right, here she is. All right, Navy Vet says, Keanu talked about world breaking from the Matrix. Was Matrix a white hat movie for today? Well, it's an interesting question. Tiffany, glad you're back. We lost you there for a minute.
Hey, sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
No problem, no problem. And then Austin Tower, thank you for joining as a member. I think that there's a lot of themes in the Matrix which are pretty interesting, but I can't tell you if good people or bad people put it together. From what I know about some of the people, I would say that probably it's not a white hat movie, but I think that maybe it was originally written with the intention of doing that. Any insight on the Wachowski brothers, or sisters as they are now?
As they are now, right? Gosh, not really. I don't have any interaction with them or any insight into that. That is, obviously one of my favorite movies. I've seen it 700,000 times.
Sure.
I love it. But yeah, no, something fishy for sure, but I don't know the truth. I really don't.
Well, I mean, it makes you wonder if their transformation is part of whatever they were blackmailed into, or, there's so many different things that could be going on in that story. That are very confusing when you look at it. It's difficult to understand. It's very, it's not all that often when one person decides that they want to change their gender at that late stage in life, but then you've got two brothers. It's like, what's going on there?
Super strange. I think there's just a ton of grooming that goes on. And I know there's a ton of grooming that goes on. And so it's part of the subculture and part of the culture of Hollywood are these, really, really perverse type things that end up going as far as they go. I don't really know. It's tragic, really.
Cappy369, thanks for joining as a member. Jordan Brown says, so could the clowns in America be responsible for the downfall of Star Wars? How direct of ties does the clowns have with Disney? Any idea with that?
Well, yeah, if you just go back and see how the clowns did the land purchase. The clowns were heavily involved in the land purchase of the Orlando swamplands.
Oh, I don't know the story.
By the clowns. You go back to just even that. So, yeah, there's a lot of FBI files that are on. Have you ever gone to the website Black Vault? I think it's called Black Vault.
Yes, I've gone to the Black Vault quite a few times. Yeah.
Okay. There's a big trove of FBI files there, and if you search Walt Disney, it's unbelievable the amount of files on Walt Disney and on the Walt Disney Company. But it's very much FBI. I think that was more indicative of the time period that he was in, and the swamp or whatever, the deep state was very much centralized within, I believe, it seems like to me, the FBI at that time.
How about any other specific movie houses? I know that we had the Sony hack several years ago, and there was some specific revelations that came out as a result of that.
What's so cool to go and read, and what's so informative to go and read, is to go to WikiLeaks and read what Julian Assange wrote about the Sony hack. If it's the sort of press release that he wrote on the sort of cover of when he released the Sony hack. And it's basically that this is showing you the power structure of Hollywood and how it works hand in glove with the government. And when you dig down into the Sony hack, that's exactly what it is. It's shocking because we think, oh, this is a movie studio. And we don't really understand quite what a modern day Hollywood movie studio like Sony actually is. They're working hand in glove with the Rand Corporation, with think tanks, with the government, with the State Department, in a way that would really surprise every American, in a way that's absolutely not what they're selling themselves as to the public.
What about specific individuals? I know I've heard some rumblings about George Clooney and a couple of other people that they might have a larger connection to this than other people.
Well, just talking about Sony, he's mentioned specifically in an email that I posted on my Twitter today, because Julia Louis-Dreyfus was being a clown, and I had to illuminate that for people, that there's a lot of evidence to support the fact that, she's clowning around for a reason. There's an email that is between the undersecretary of the State Department and the CEO of Sony, Michael Linton, where they're discussing what entertainers, writers, and actors they could be tapped to basically covertly push government agendas, anti-Russian messaging, anti-ISIL messaging, just, in different ways that were deceptive. They were talking about, let's set up a benefit or a concert, and who can we get to come and push these narratives? And it was Julia Louis-Dreyfus, it was George Clooney, it's Ben Affleck, it's
Matt Damon.
So we don't have to make this stuff up, you guys. We don't have to speculate. If you're wondering about if someone's popping off on Twitter right now and just absolutely in our faces, go search declassified documents, go search WikiLeaks, go search the Sony hack. It doesn't, these people are what they look like. In every case that I've ever drilled down into it, I'm like never surprised.
The Black Vault is a great place to use as a resource. I've done that a lot for research. Thank you very much again to Jordan Brown. Crystal Lynn says, thanks for the great content you put out. Free 99, can't beat that. Free 99, honey. What do you mean? Crystal Lynn, 4-3. Are you saying there's a free 99-cent super chat? Is that what you're saying? Can't beat that. Hey, guys, pretend you are paying your cable bill and donate to the Real News if you can. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Malaku says the brothers stole Matrix from Sophia Stewart. I actually had another guest on that claimed that the Matrix was stolen from him, and I am not necessarily privy to know which one of them is telling the truth, but I thought it was a great show. You should go back and watch that. And check it out. And maybe I'll have Sophia Stewart on as well. Also, thank you to Grunt Gilman. Thank you to Minnie Moore for joining and then upgrading. Jordan Brown, also, thank you for joining. And Michael Kenny says, Tiffany, thank you for doing what you have done. Thank you. Thank you as well, Tiffany. Appreciate it. So let's talk about some of the other documents that you've provided here. I've gone through, and we can go through the Sony hack, slideshow images, Pentagon, Clowns in America, DOD docs, NSC, National Security Council, Ellen DeGeneres. Why don't we talk about Ellen DeGeneres? She's just been in the news recently.
She's been so noisy lately, so let's talk about her because she obviously wants us to talk about her.
Yeah, so what is Ellen DeGeneres' connection to all of this?
There are so many documents that connect her to different factions of the government and say in no uncertain terms that she is willing to use her show and her platform to parrot the agenda of the foreign policy of the State Department, whatever it is that they want her to do, she's willing to do, and she will use her show to do it. That's actually in an email that I have there. And there's so many different emails. It's so funny. It's so hard to know where to start with her. And she really just started to get my attention a year ago or so. It was because of her, Andy Lassner, her executive producer, was, being a little bit flippant and unkind on Twitter. And I was like, oh no, now we're going to have to look underneath the bed and see what's happening over here with Ellen. And it was not hard to find. I will tell you, there's so many documents that link her to State Department. There's strange documents. Stratford is one of my favorite WikiLeaks dumps. And it's basically an intelligence publisher. Mm-hmm. And there's so many documents in there about Clooney, but about Ellen, there's just such strange ones. I mean, there's so many in there about her, but that the clowns were tracking when she came out in 1997 on her show. Mm-hmm. Says an internal bulletin board at the Clowns in America lit up like a Christmas tree, and who knew that the nation's spies were keeping such close tabs on a sitcom star? I mean,
wait, are you saying when she came out that she got calls from the intelligence agencies?
No, that while that show was on, while it was airing, this was in the Hollywood Reporter, by the way.
I think I've got that pulled up here.
Yeah, that an internal bulletin board at the Clowns lit up like a Christmas tree. And it's okay. I mean, that's just a strange thing. But then when you add it all up, especially too, with her interactions with the Clown's Twitter account.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, when they first got onto Twitter, she was, and she's elevated greatly on Twitter as, one of the biggest accounts. When you join it's, you want to follow her, right? It's
Sure.
suggested all the time, right? So she's got, 70 million followers. So when they first came onto Twitter, and they've got a PR problem, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
There's this whole thing to try to soften their image. And she was joking with them back and forth. She was the first person to tweet them, hey, blah, 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 and just making all these jokes. And it's fishy when you add it all up, obviously, but helping them soften that image. And then her whole thing with Alexa.
I don't know about that. Tell me.
If you go on YouTube and you just Google, Alexa Ellen, every time Amazon comes out with a new, and of course, Amazon's connection with the clowns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every time they come out with a new sort of listening device, every single time for the last 5 years, she does some little skit, some little segment on her show that's basically like making fun of the fact that they're listening and like that it's totally fine and it's hilarious. Like,
wow.
It's just great. It's fine.
Of course.
And every time that the whisper, the this, that, every different model, it's like, almost like she works for them.
She probably does. Who
knows? I'm not sure, but it seems almost like that.
Oh, and I forgot to tell you, a mutual friend said hello, John Paul Rice.
I love him.
I know.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. Told me to say hello to you. Faithful Anon says, love to see Tiffany. I'm a 798 member. Do you know what I don't know what that means either. Well, thank you very much, Faithful Anon. And Doug F610 says, how was the response to drive-in prayer meeting in ATL? I don't know. I don't live in ATL, but I'll ask somebody who does, though. But if there was a drive-through prayer meeting, then I hope that there was plenty of response, because I bet you people are getting stir-crazy having to stay inside their homes. I went out for food today for the first time in quite a long time, and that was interesting. The restaurant was completely empty, but it meant that I got my food in like 10 minutes. It was pretty sweet. Yeah. So, I mean, Ellen clearly has some connections to some major people. I mean, she's like best friends with George W. Bush. She's clearly very close with Michael Obama. She's got, lots of people that she's hanging out with who, many people have considered could potentially be clown assets. And Hillary Clinton as well. I mean, that was one of the emails that was leaked, is that, Ellen would do anything to help Hillary get elected, put anything out there. Did you find anything else specific on any other actors or actresses that had done overt things to help out the clowns?
Let's think. Now you're putting me on the spot. I'm not like thinking of other people. I'm thinking of her right now. Let's come back to that one.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, but now my mind's drawing a blank on that.
All right, so it's not just that the government is giving scripts. I mean, like you said, that they have script. Are you still there?
Okay, here we are. I got you back.
The government is offering. Oh, you just locked up again, didn't you? Well, Be the Light 82 says, this is a critical time in which we all must rise against fear. Apocalypse versus ascension. Your choice. Love always wins. It's a great point. I try to say that on my show all the time. There's no reason to be afraid. Tiffany, are you there? It did it again. Oh, there you are. Hello?
I don't know what's happening. I don't know.
It's your spotty internet. So when these movie companies, they enter into agreements with the intelligence community and the DoD, is it like a per project basis, or is it that like every single studio will have a relationship and an office for these people to sit at?
Well, there is an office, and the liaison, it was a guy named Phil Strub for a long time, the DoD liaison, and they have very close relationships with the Michael Bays of the world and the people who do repeatedly work with the agencies. Those relationships are very strong between certain producers, certain directors, certain actors, and these liaisons. But when the production agreements are entered into, that I've only ever seen them on a per project basis. I have never seen like a blanket one for a production company or a producer. It's always per project.
So when that happens, do they just bring the script and take it to like that office, or is there like somebody on set that is like a minder or somebody who's a production assistant or something?
Both, and that's written into the agreement. And there are many email exchanges about that are in all those documents that I sent you. So it's basically the first step is they get the script and they read the whole script, and then they enter into the agreement, and then the government has their say over the script, and then they go back and forth. And there's all these emails that show all this. They go back and forth. Well, no, you need to take this out. You need to do this. You need to add this in, blah, 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 back and forth, back and forth. And then once they go into production, there's a representative, a liaison, basically eyes and ears. And they call them, they say things like that, keep eyes on this one, keep eyes on that director. You've got our government saying, keep eyes on that director. Mm-hmm. Make sure he's doing this. Make sure he's doing that. It's so creepy. And then when it's over, they get to see the final cut before it's, finalized. So literally all the way through to the final cut, from script to screen, absolute government oversight the whole time, on set, everything.
That's insane. I need to say thank you to Be the Light 82. Appreciate that. Faithful Anon says, I'm an IATSC department head hairstylist in New York, following Tiffany for a year. Where we go and we go all. Navy Vet says, I pray Tiff has protection. She has a lot of info. And Adams Malenki says, is Ellen's studio modeled after Jeffrey's Island? Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because it kind of looks like it is. Let me get the picture pulled up and you guys tell me where you think it's modeled after. So yeah, I mean, it clearly does appear to be. There is this square blue and white striped building in the background. She's got the palm trees and, lots of white. And then, of course, there's the designs on the ground there. Now, if only we could see the top of whatever her this set is in the background. But yeah, I mean, it sure looks like it to me. Were you ever able to put together any direct connections, like in their personal lives, Jeffrey and Ellen?
No, I didn't try to make those connections too much, but it's something definitely worth looking into. And to answer your comment there from your viewer, I don't need, first of all, I have all the protection in the world, right? Through God and through Jesus Christ. We are not alone in this. I'm not alone in this world. I'm not scared. I'm not fearful. This is all open source information. I get all this on the internet. Mm-hmm. You can have it. I don't have any special access to any of this information. This is all out there. This is all in the open. This is all declassified documents. These are all FOIA documents, things that have been, there's these gentlemen in the UK who have applied for all of these FOIA requests over the last 5 years, 10 years, and have literally amassed a trove of documents that absolutely, without a doubt, show you exactly what Hollywood has been for the last 100 years. And we should be super grateful to them. And they have a website called spyculture.com. A lot of this information is there. So I have no reason to be fearful. Nobody does. This information is all out there. It's all open source.
Spyculture.com. I've never heard of that.
Amazing website. Amazing.
I'll check it out. Let's talk about Marvel, because I'm a big Marvel movie fan, and it kind of breaks my heart to think that that the Clowns in America is crafting these Marvel films. I just thought they were well written, but obviously, there's something. Well, what else? So what's going on with that? How are they involved with Marvel movies?
Oh, with every one of them. Your government has been involved with every single Marvel movie. Just what I just described, that absolute oversight, script to screen. No Marvel movie has been released that hasn't been completely under the babysitting guide of your government. And that's a terrifying reality. I mean, we can look at the script changes of just even Hulk, right? Just one of them. There were actually government script changes to, I would say, almost every single page. And as a writer, it's amazing for me to look at this, because that's like a page one rewrite practically when you look at the script notes that the government gave on Hulk.
Right here from Marines. The Marines in particular wanted to change stuff. Hulk research. So this is a letter. Is this a letter from the art department to the government asking for. I'd like to request permission to view and dub VHS copy of DoD video to be used for Hulk art department. Okay. All right. And then, so this one, maybe I'll rationalize this as maybe a little bit more innocuous because it's from the art department. So they're asking for them to not do maybe some classified stuff or whatever, you know, like, or did they come up with the idea for the super soldier serum and they asked them to put it into the movie?
You should read those documents because, you know, it will shatter your affinity for the Marvel movies, because at the end of the day, you know, these themes and these films, they do a lot to the minds of Americans that benefit the deep state. So it really benefits the deep state, right? To keep Americans thinking that we're always under threat, thinking that every single thing that we do around the world militarily is justified. And by the way, there is no one more patriotic than me. I love our military men and women. I am so proud. And so we're all so indebted to them. But what we've come to understand, you know, over the last couple of decades, hopefully most of us have come to understand, is that really we haven't really had a country. We were talking about this earlier. When you have a deep state and you have a shadow government, right? And you have these factions and these controls that are unseen, but absolutely pulling the strings of foreign policy and all of this stuff, you don't really have a country. And what we've been as a country, honestly, since, you know, the 20s, really, we've been the military arm of a global power nexus that we are not supposed to know exists. That's what we've been. And Hollywood has helped the global elites accomplish that by mind controlling Americans through movies like Marvel. It's a sad reality, but I hate war, and every American should really hate war and see what it's done to our vets and see what it's done to this world and to our own country. And Hollywood is so complicit in that, and they're absolutely just forsaken America and forsaken Americans. And this is where this whole thing starts for me, because storytelling is a thing that I love, and it's been used to do these crimes. And I will stop at nothing till that's not happening anymore.
You know, I think people look back at, say, films of like the World War II era, and it's pretty obvious, you know, that these are government propaganda films. They want to glorify war, they want to glamorize it, because they needed people to go sign up, okay? I mean, they need people to fight so that they can continue to take down the bad guys across the pond. But, you know, now, I mean, what's the point? I mean, I guess the point is that they want to glamorize it because not a lot of people want to sign up to go to war, and they need people to continue to do it. I mean, they don't have the draft. We're not using the draft. We're not forcing people. But there's a lot of different jobs that you can do inside the government. And you're right, in this Hulk stuff, it is significant rewrites that they're asking for. It's not just the art department stuff. I mean, lots of dialogue changes, and it's just kind of crazy to me. You know, and it's subtle things. It's just, I mean, in order to get like a full idea of what this is, I mean, they have some millimeter wave weapons that they wanted them to put in the movie, which is crazy. Like, why did so they needed to release this stuff to the public so that people can be aware that it exists. There's some other movies that I've seen. Oh, I know. It was Transformers. Transformers had some special weapon in it that they wanted people to know that we possessed. And so they had Michael Bay put it into the script. This is the exact same thing.
Well, predictive programming is a big thing. So right before they did the very first drone strike, I don't know if you guys remember 10, 12 years ago, the idea of an unmanned drone firing upon humans was incomprehensible. We didn't believe this. We didn't even think of this technology. We didn't even think of this weapon, this warfare, this type of warfare. So there was a episode of, I believe, a show called S.H.I.E.L.D. I think it was in S.H.I.E.L.D. And it was the very first time this was introduced. And the documents are here and in the trove I sent you. That it would be a drone strike. You know, that this would be in this show, and it happened, and it was in this show, and then 2 weeks later, it happened in real life for the first time, and now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when you're talking about introducing things, there's this whole idea of predictive programming, because you go, oh, okay, that's a thing that happens. No, that's a thing that happens. Well, you just saw it in a Marvel TV show, or you just saw it here. You just think that it's a normal thing because it's been introduced to you by Hollywood.
Sorry, I just had to step away and open the window. It's getting a little warm in here with these lights. I need to say thank you to a couple of different people. Thanks again to Adams. Kelly Dunn says, I got my Trump tax rebate for $1,200 today. Good for you. Everybody's waiting for it. So I bought a couple of nice Bang Bangs. I think I know what you're talking about. I've never been held up during background checks either yet. I got held today. Store owner said they have held all apps. Anyone else? Anybody else had the issue of not being able to go to your favorite self-defense store and purchase some self-defense? Brian Foltz, this weekend, grab your wife, husband, and children and watch I Still Believe by Jeremy Camp. You'll cry and be so inspired. Amazon Prime. All right, sweet. That's good to know. It's on Amazon Prime. We'll watch it. Q-Wife Maga Life says, updates on Newsom pulling California. Hi, Tiffany. Love you. So here's my thoughts on Gavin Newsom. Did you hear about this? Gavin Newsom referred to California as a nation state.
No, I briefly heard that, but I didn't really pay too much attention to what's happening.
So I don't think that Gavin has announced his intention to secede from the United States. I think that it's his ego talking, and his ego in regards to the importance of California. So making California sound more important and more powerful than it is. California will never secede from the United States, and especially not in the condition it is right now, because they are only alive due to the fact that the federal government is pumping, millions, if not billions of dollars into the state of California. Now, there may be, and there is probably, because I've had these people on the show before, there's a movement to secede a large portion of California from California proper. So it would be the new California state. That would be a 51st state. They would self-govern. They would break off from Sacramento. And it's like Sacramento, San Francisco, and LA. So those three areas, and they're broken up, obviously, but those would be the state of California. Everything else, the entire state, would be the 51st state. And they are very close to being able to do that. And President Trump knows about it. They have the support of every single county in the state of California. Nobody wants to be part of Gavin Newsom's hayride. They want to go ahead and break off. So that's going to happen, guys, first off, because Gavin Newsom won't be able to survive. Once they secede from California, that old California is going to get stuck with all the debts, and they're going to be ungovernable, and they're going to need to get bailed out by the government. Let's see. Alfred McKay says, not only the Marvel films are corrupted, but comic books too. Love your show and guest, Red Pill. Much obliged. Alfred, I don't doubt it. There is some major predictive programming going down in comic books today. The comic book industry has completely destroyed itself because they have alienated anybody who is not part of their social programming. And the people making comic books, they're on Twitter and social media, just completely trashing anybody who doesn't agree with their, just liberal line of thinking. So I totally believe it. I totally believe that the same thing that's happening in Hollywood is also happening at places like Marvel and DC. It's just too bad. Stephanie Oostveen says, what about the Harry Potter series? They go after our children as well. I know that we did have something about Harry Potter in here, but do you know anything, Tiffany, about the intelligence community working in the Harry Potter series specifically?
Beyond just the document there that was leaked out of Warner Brothers, I believe, that showed there's a lot of creative Hollywood accounting that goes on. And so you have all these movies that have made $1 billion around the world, and they don't show a profit. They show that they're in the loss, they're in the red or whatever that. And so there's all of this fraud and creative Hollywood accounting that goes on. It's just another sort of layer of this swamp, right? Yeah. But what I will say about those films, they are really about, it's funny because we have a culture that's been so occulted. Mm-hmm. We've really just been occulted, and we don't realize it, and we think, oh my gosh, these movies, because they're beautiful, they're well made, they're incredible films, they're brilliantly written stories, they're amazing. They're so incredibly occult, meaning we're completely comfortable with the idea that supernatural power exists that isn't ascribed to anything, right? There's this supernatural power exists, or it's, demons, or it's the darkness or whatever. But it's just sort of this benign supernatural power. And that's the truth, is that, if we have supernatural power, or if there is a supernatural power, there is dark and light supernatural power, right?
Right.
But the dark supernatural power, the light supernatural power has complete control over the dark supernatural power. But we're never shown or taught that. And anytime that there is a good guy who has supernatural power, it never comes from God.
Right.
And it comes from spells, and it comes from, it's this occult power, and we don't drill down and we think, oh, magic, fun, cool, wizards, whatever. But you're not really sitting there thinking about the fine details of what that's teaching us about the way the world works. Mm-hmm. And if this world is really spiritual warfare, which I'm starting to really understand a lot that it really is, to confuse us about the way that works would be really brilliant if you wanted to control us.
Yes, it would.
And have us not know how that really all works, So to me, that's one of the big problems with the Harry Potter movies, is that occult power, and never having people understand that there is, supernatural power from God, and that it's stronger than the dark power. So it's just my personal belief, but yeah.
So just one half of it. I understand what you're saying, and I think you're right. Need to say thank you to Faithful Anon. Says there are more of us in the film and TV industry that are awake and are ready to change to dark to light. That's great. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah. Austin Tower says, what are some good resources I can go to for discovery and research? Also, please talk about Cappy. Okay, so as far as research is concerned, we've got obviously the WikiLeaks website, we've got the Black Vault, and then we've got Spy Culture. Any other ones that you think are good places to send people to, Tiffany?
You just nailed all my favorites. Those are really my favorites. I go, and you guys know I do so much research. I always go straight to WikiLeaks whenever anything comes up that's new, and I want to start to find out about it. That's where I go first. I go to Black Vault a lot. Spy Culture, like I said, for Hollywood stuff is just absolutely awesome. If I think of other ones, I'll let you know, but those are my favorites.
Okay. All right. I need to say thank you to Charlie Echo. RP, please ask Tiffany her thoughts on Tom Hanks. Anything to say about Tom Hanks?
Well, I just think the whole coronavirus thing is weird, right? So, and the way that all the celebrities are acting, these are all the same people who told us to vote for Hillary Clinton, right? Or that the world would end. And they're all saying the same thing at the same time, including Tom Hanks, right? If you go down that list of the DoD database, he's their boy. He has been a big part of this. And so people want to speculate about a lot of things. I just don't like to really speculate. I don't like to do that. I like to just look at what I can look at and what I can see. And I can see involvement with the government going back from the very beginning of his career. And it would be one thing, it would be fine if this was all out in the open, but this is all marked secret. Mm-hmm. This is all done cloak and dagger style. We're not supposed to know how this all works. And we're not supposed to have any idea about this involvement. And so for me, why? Like, okay, so if there's anything wrong with it, why is it all marked secret? If there's anything wrong with it, why does it take years to get these documents from the government? Mm-hmm. And, so he's in, if you go down his list of movies, it's absolutely stunning how many of them are in the documents I sent you. It's wow. 80%, 70%, what was the movie I was just thinking of? Oh no, that's George Clooney I'm thinking of, but yeah, just go down and look. It's going back to, what's that one, the big red shoe?
The man with one red shoe.
The man with the one red shoe. CIA or clowns' involvement in that. All of it. I mean, that's what, in the 80s, 70s practically. So just go look at that stuff, because bottom line is there's an illusion about who and what these people are. Mm-hmm. It's not what they're presenting to the world. It's really not. It's something different. So you have to decide for yourself what you think that is, but it's an illusion.
John Anon in the chat had asked about Crazy Days and Nights, and I would say yes, Crazy Days and Nights is a website that I frequent quite often. We lost it for just a second. Yeah. Crazy Days and Nights is interesting because they give you enough clues to put it together, but you have to guess, and then only later on is it shown to be what you thought it was. But it's a great website. I really enjoy reading it. My mom is a big fan too. Hi, Mom. Love you. My mom's a big fan of yours as well, Tiffany.
Aw, hi, Mom.
Let's see. Deb Janice wanted to know if you knew anything about Cindy McCain. Does she know Mike Smith, producer of the documentary Out of the Shadows? Anything?
I don't know anything about Cindy McCain, anything more than any of you guys know in particular. I haven't really done into her. And yes, I do know Mike. Yep, I know him. Mm-hmm.
Mohawk Girl says, you think the Cabal likes to make a world villain look like fiction and ridiculous so people don't believe they are a real thing? I would say absolutely, yeah. I mean, they take something like that and then they present it in, a jestful manner. It's like, that website that our favorite Anon posted just a couple of days ago that was supposedly a PETA website, I mean, they had fictionalized depictions of people, after they've expired in a meat market. And they talk about something like that and they say, oh, look at this. And then everybody's like, oh, well, it's fake. They don't do things like that. That's not real. But unfortunately, that kind of stuff actually happens, and it's very disturbing. Michael Katungo says, thanks for all your hard work. It's great to see you it's great to see you multiple times a day. Love you, Tiffany, RP Sweater, and Simone. Simone is asleep. She's not here tonight. I don't know where she's at. Richard Everett says, even Paw Patrol is corrupted. I don't know what Paw Patrol is. Maybe it's something about animals. Lady Be Good says, even World of Warcraft is ruined. I just finished a quest line fighting cannibals and blood drinkers. I've been seeing it get worse with each expansion. Yeah, the people who are working on anything in pop culture are just like completely twisted. It's the same thing. It's video games, it's comic books, and it's movies and television shows.
Do you think that they're changing, but we're changing too?
Yes.
That's the other part is as we wake up more, things just look more like what they really are and what they've always been. Mm-hmm. And we're changing as well. We're waking up and it's just becomes intolerable. It's too obvious to us now.
Son of a Green Card says, check your local concealed carry permit laws and see. In some states, including my own, your permit is your background check. Way less of a headache when purchasing Second Amendment. Good advice, Son of a Green Card. Thanks, buddy. Casey Anon says, Texas versus White case law requires 2/3 vote in Congress for secession of a state. Anything else is legal. Newsom should tread lightly. Yeah, that's right. It's not like Newsom is actually seceding the state of California. He just wants to make himself look important. Dave Stealth Bomber says, the simplest explanation I've heard is that there are only two forces on Earth. If it's not from God, it's from the other side. I completely believe it. Gaffer Anon says, I work in the film and video industry in the Seattle area, lighting department, hence my handle. Gaffer Anon is a good friend of the program, good guy. Denise says, parts of Harry Potter were filmed near me. Johnny Depp was drinking in the local pub and played his guitar. I said, I used to love him. Now I feel sick when I see him. Johnny Depp, I think, has destroyed his image for a lot of people. But unfortunately, Amber Heard also did a pretty good job of destroying his image. But now it's coming out that she is a terrible, terrible liar. Do you know that she's looking at 3 years in prison for falsifying evidence? All those pictures of her getting beat up, they're fake. She did that with makeup, okay? And apparently she also used his bed as a toilet, we'll say. I won't get too graphic with it. But so she's a sicko.
Well, it gets at the heart of so many of these people that are part of this club.
Twisted.
It's very sociopathic. It's just absolutely devoid of so many of the things that our societies need to be built on. And these are our idols. No, those days are over. This is all finished.
Absolutely. All right, guys, I've opened up the phones. If you want to go ahead and call in, let me throw the link out. And if you've got the Zoom if you got the Zoom app on your phone, you can go ahead and just get in here. I'm going to drop in the link right there, and then I'm going to do the meeting ID and the password next, so you guys can write those down. They're also on the screen right here, right there. You can pull it right off the screen. And then also need to say thank you to Patricia Furlong. She says, unsealing grand jury subpoenas, Durham. That's right. It's happening. John Solomon revealed on Sean Hannity's program today that there have been released several grand jury subpoenas, and people are they're gonna be paying here pretty soon. I would say that anybody who was disappointed about what happened today should take a look at stuff like that. Just because something wasn't headline news as soon as you woke up in the morning doesn't mean that it's not going to happen later in the day. Like I said earlier on Quarantine, the day's not over yet. Richard Everett says Paw Patrol is a little kid's cartoon. No wonder I didn't know about it. My daughter's 18, so it's been a long time since we watched the cartoons together. And Patricia Furlong says, a new post from our favorite on unsealing indictment Durham subpoenas. I saw this placeholder post from earlier today. That's the only one that I have, is just so that everybody has seen this. Just in case you haven't seen this, after the show today, we had another post from 17, post 3934, indictment tracking placeholders. Placeholder, indictments tracking, non-civilian is what that is. So set one, those would be people in the government. And we've got 6 spots. Now, I believe that previously there was 7 spots, and Comey would have been one of them. So if there's only 6 now, we've been speculating recently, Tiffany, wondering if James Comey had flipped because he's done some strange things. He posted a picture of a Judas tree the other day, and then after that, he posted a picture of someone walking through a tunnel with a light at the end of the tunnel. So I could see that happening. I could see James Comey flipping on people because, why does he need to be beholden to people who can't help him any longer? And then we've got placeholder, indictments tracking civilian, placeholder, acts of treason plus supporting articles, placeholder, foreign acts, public, and then also placeholder, FISA, public. So these are things that we're waiting to get filled in, and hopefully we're going to be seeing that soon. Joseph Atencio says, Tom Hanks did a movie where I work last year. I was asked if I wanted to meet him. I said, no way. Don't want anything to do with that sick man. There was...
That's so awesome. That's hilarious.
So you're aware that I think it was the Mr. Rogers film that Tom Hanks was working on where someone passed away on set. That person made contact with a YouTube person. They were going to speak to them and go on record. And after that conversation happened, before they could actually get it on tape, that person fell off a balcony.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Pretty scary stuff. So you guys, be careful, you guys. Get a burner phone if you're going to call somebody about something like that. Navy Vet says, what's Tiff's opinion on Keanu? Has she seen his recent article about breaking from the Matrix? Do you have any opinion on Keanu? Did you ever meet him or have the opportunity to have any contact with him?
No, weirdly, I've heard nice things about him.
I have too.
He's someone who's been in it since he was a young teenager, and I think that he's probably been passed around. I think this is how that all works. I know so many of them are. That's me speculating. And what I have heard about him is that he's got a good heart and he's got a good soul. I think he's probably one of those people who's just been in it so long. I don't know that he's a perpetrator so much as maybe he's kind of a victim. Again, all speculation. I don't know.
Well, he's also not exactly been like a regular household name. I kind of feel like Keanu has picked and chosen his projects that he's worked on. I mean, I think the Matrix, John Wick, those are some of my favorite movies. I mean, John Wick is awesome. The Matrix is awesome. He's a great action star. He's done some low budget kung fu movies. I mean, he hasn't had that Tom Cruise level of stardom. Tom Cruise, I look at somebody and I think if somebody's compromised, Tom Cruise is going to be one of those people. What about Tom Cruise? Do you have any stories about Tom Cruise?
No, I was going to when the whole Ukraine thing started happening and he was just over there suddenly talking with the president of Ukraine and blah, blah, blah. I was like, I need to dig into this guy. And then I had other things to do. Sure. So I recommend people just do do the thing that I did on, Ellen, and, do it on him. Just go down, start searching, and you'll find stuff. It just takes time. You just have to really, drill down. But I think his connections to, like I said, Ukraine and different governments around the world are interesting, and Scientology, obviously, which is an intelligence operation.
I've heard that many times. There are people who are Scientologists who will watch my show. I don't know if they watch the show only when somebody brings up Scientology or if they're watching all the time, but I'll generally hear about it if somebody hears it get brought up.
And I'll say that too, is in so much as the Catholic Church, with all of its sex abuse and all of these things, is also like an intelligence operation, right? So these are tactics that are used in control systems. And so, not to say anything against any one religion over any other, but they all seem to function on these compromise and control type tactics, which are just intelligence.
Patriotiac says, what about Real Housewives? I saw on 8kun this week that Lisa Vanderpump is Illuminati. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, yeah. I mean, I
Probably.
Real Housewives. My mom, I think, might still watch that, but but yes. What to your point? I think that the vast majority of organized religions. I mean, it's not just Scientology. It's not just Catholicism. I mean, you look at those large organized religions that have overt power structures that span back centuries, and there clearly is some nefarious stuff going on there. So I don't want anybody who is any particular religion to get offended by what I'm saying. I think that the best thing is just to have a personal relationship with God and read the Bible and just know where your heart is and don't hurt other people, and you'll probably be fine. But as soon as you get sucked into that whole thing, I've heard horror stories from people, from Baptists, from Methodists, from Episcopalians, from Catholics. It doesn't matter what sect it is. Judaism, the whole thing, everybody, all of these different power structures, it includes the deep state. All right, we're going to go to the first caller. And guys, I want to remind you, please be ready to mute your stream. I'm going to come right in and say hello. Go ahead and mute your stream. Oh, no. I don't want to remove Denise. Hold on. Denise, if it's the Denise that I'm thinking of, it's our friend from the UK. Denise is getting her microphone turned on. Dallas K says, I'd say info overload, but knowledge is power. Thank you, RP and Tiffany. God bless, and happy Easter to you and all patriots. Where we go, one we go all. Thank you very much, Dallas. So Joseph Atencio, I need to say thank you for that chat about working with Tom Hanks. Is that the same movie, Joseph Atencio? Was that the same movie where Tom Hanks was playing Mr. Rogers? I believe that's what it was. That just creeps me out all kinds of different ways. Yeah, Denise,
I don't know where you heard that about the YouTube.
Oh, I mean, I heard it from the guy that got contacted.
No way.
The YouTube person who was contacted, yes. And things happened to him too. He basically retired after that. Yeah, I'll tell you more off air, but because I don't want to be. I don't want to reveal too much.
Tell me. I don't want to know.
Okay, all right. They knew who he was. I mean, they found him. Wow. Legendary 2017. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Denise, something's wrong. We're not getting your microphone, so I'm going to bring in Aaron. Aaron is another great friend of the program. And Aaron usually has his microphone working okay. Richard Everett says, most all televangelists are sick. Yeah, Jimmy Swaggart, James Baker, I mean, it's pretty much universal. There he is. What's up, Aaron? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. If I was doing any better, I'd be you.
It's always. What's going on, brother? I just hold on before you get into this. I take it for granted people know that you're a game designer and you're an artist. Tell us about your stuff back there, because it seems like it's evolved a little bit since you first started calling in. We've got your coloring book. That one says top secret, so that's Hi, Denise. Give us just a sec. We got Aaron in there first. Okay, go ahead.
This is a children's book I illustrated called Popple, and I did Popple's Place too. Those books were written by a woman named Judy Johnson Zoller, and I got Jeff Foxworthy to endorse. I gave you some of those books.
No, I know. That's why I wanted you to talk about it.
and when we got done with the books, we went to go see Jeff Foxworthy, and he did a joke about how he helps the children's hospitals. It was sang up for a joke. And I said, did you hear that? He helps children's hospitals. That's why she wrote the books, to help children's hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, maybe he'll help us. She said, well, he'll never talk to us. We're just normal people. So she wrote a note inside the book, and I went and talked to the stage manager. He got us in there. We talked to him for about 10 minutes before his next show. And he agreed to show the books to his kids, and he ended up endorsing them. I mean, and it was funny. We waited for a couple months, and then we decided to go see him again. He came back into town a few months later. We hadn't heard from him. And we thought, well, we'll just go backstage and leave a couple books as a reminder. And we ran into him. He was coming down the hall, and he goes, oh, Judy and Aaron, you remembered our names.
Wow.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I haven't gotten back to you. And in the meantime, we had met with Jay Leno. And I said, that's okay. Jay Leno hasn't gotten back to us either. He goes, I'll beat Jay. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. All right, sweet. Well, very, very finely done coloring book. It's, all of your work. Your game is a lot of fun. Tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Facebook or Twitter. I got a YouTube channel too, Truth Quest, show about, aliens and other stuff. All that kind of fun stuff, because once you see a UFO, it kind of changes you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what's your question for Tiffany, Aaron?
My question is, what's your favorite red pill to give normies? And have you looked into Ghislaine Maxwell? How come she's so slippery?
Can you repeat it? The first part?
What's your favorite red pill to give normies? Like, do you have something that if somebody isn't awake, that you tell them to kind of soften them and bring them into the movement?
I think the whole Jeffrey Epstein story was so good for that.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a good entry point for so many people, because it was very normal people like my neighbors and friends. So going, you don't think he killed himself, right? And that just sort of was this like jumping off point for so many people. And to understand how connected he was to our government, like Cindy McCain said,
mm-hmm.
everyone knew. And you just think about Bill Gates starting up a relationship with him after he's been to prison for child sex trafficking, rape, international child sex trafficking. The most powerful man in the world then starts up a relationship with him,
mm-hmm.
and does, multiple trips with him. It paints a picture for normies, right, about how the world really works. And it doesn't work the way that we were told it works. So that's a great, that one there. I mean, there's anything that they can access, that they can grab onto. I think right now, a lot of the stuff about Bill Gates that's coming out about the Indian government and what he did in India, those are just facts. And so you start to look at it differently. You start to look at his connections to pharmaceutical companies. And so does someone like this have a motive, right, for what they're doing? And things that they can access that are applicable right now to them. I think those are great red pills. And the Miss Maxwell, she's highly, highly, involved in intelligence. Her father, before her, look into his story. It's totally insane. She's protected. She's in the nest. She's in the the whole Babylon thing. She's right in the center of it. So I think she's gonna go down with the ship if the ship goes down. This is the fall of Babylon. So I don't think she'll be, on the outside. She's very much on the inside. She knows a lot about a lot of people.
It makes me think immediately about those pictures of her that were released that some very astute Anons were able to figure out had some incredible manipulation on them. And I believe that it came out that the person who took those pictures was a member of some intelligence agency themselves. So they helped her stage that whole thing and get it out there and tried to make it look as if it was, from a different date when, because they had... it was the movie poster on the bus. Yeah, the movie poster in the background on the bus stop. It was totally incorrect. And the people who own that bus stop billboard sign, they said never was here at that time.
Yep. She's protected. I think that it's all part of how the world has worked. When you just start to see the level of sexual abuse within the Catholic Church, the level of sexual abuse within the Boy Scouts, you start to see all of the compromised assets within Hollywood. You start to see these swamp creatures within Washington and how it all really works and how they're also compromised. You start to get a sense of how the world really works, and this is the big red pill for all of us. It's that it is a Babylonian system. It is this, beast system that we've all been enslaved by. That is this enormous illusion that we're all waking up to. It's all happening. This is action. This is really happening. I mean, if I didn't think it was happening before, I know it's happening now because I'm locked in my house. You know what I mean? Like, we have these tangible things to tell us things are happening on a level that is the biggest inflection point in human history, in my opinion.
I would have to agree with you for sure. All right, Aaron, anything else for Tiffany?
I just got to say, children and childhood is sacred, and that is going to pull everyone together when these normies all see this horror show that's Planet Earth.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can get them all. And it'd be nice, they have advanced radars that can see from space down through apartment buildings every single person. Maybe if you train that algorithm to find adults abusing children, you could zap them. Glass houses.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. All right, Aaron, thanks for your call, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, peace. All right, awesome. Denise, you're there? Denise, are you there?
I'm here.
Excellent.
Hello.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good, but Tiffany's broken my heart so many times.
How come?
Sorry.
What do you mean?
Because all her exposes, I'm having to throw videos in the dustbin.
Yeah.
I mean, because I told you the area I live in, there's a village called Lacock, which is a medieval village and used in a lot of films and dramas. And as I told you, Harry Potter was filmed in part of it. And Johnny Depp was there, and I was so excited. And then I read about him, and I just felt sick. Oh no!
Yeah.
It's sad.
But yeah,
it's so sad. I mean, I can't watch film. I can't watch television anymore because I will see the symbolism, or I'll see a person. I'll see the name in the credits of a producer or somebody that I know is compromised or is just a terrible individual. And it makes it very difficult to enjoy popular culture, which is why we need somebody to do something about that. We need to have a competing industry to Hollywood that can put out things with good stories and messages. And they don't have to be overtly, propaganda-ish one way or the other. I mean, just something that's good that isn't going to teach kids to wear dresses, I guess.
Bottom line.
No, please don't break my heart over Keanu Reeves, because he's the last one I'm hanging on to at the minute.
You can keep him for now. We haven't found anything on him. No, if it helps. I've hated finding out all this stuff too. I just like everybody else. I mean, I worked my whole life to get into this industry and to tell stories, and then it was heartbreaking for me and a real process, just like everybody else, to find out what this all really is. But
yeah, because I hear so many good things about him. He donates to children's hospices, and he rides on the subway and on the trams, like anybody else, gives his seat up to ladies. And, I just don't want him to turn out to be a bad guy. That'd shatter me. Do you know this stuntman or ex-stuntman that's... he's releasing a documentary today.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yesterday in my time, because I'm in the UK. Out of the Shadows, it's called.
Many people have been mentioning that in the chat. What is it?
It's a film that he's made on YouTube, and he was going to be releasing it tonight, your time. because I'm sort of 5 hours in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called Out of the Shadows. His name's John something or other. He was a stuntman. He was Batman stuntman and, big movies. And he was going to do an expose release tonight. So when this show's finished, I'll be looking for that one. Sorry, Red Pill.
Oh, no, that's okay. I'm going to be looking for it too. I see Liz Crokin talking about it. I see a trailer, but I don't see and I see Steel Truth reporting on it as well. Well, I'll have to do a little bit of digging and see if I can't find it, but looks like a lot of people have already been very interested in it, so I'd like to see what it is.
Yeah. Me too. I'll be, as I said, when this show's finished, I'll be digging it out and having a view. Considering it's 4:30 in the morning here where I am, that'll take
Get some sleep,
that'll
Denise.
take me into daylight. I'll be hearing the sparrows again before I go to bed.
That's a dedicated fan right there.
Yes, she's here every time too, so I appreciate it. And Denise, on Sunday, because it's Easter, we're not going to be doing a show, but I did an interview with Sean Atwood, who is another Briton, and that's going to be coming out on Sunday if you want to check that at the normal time.
Yeah, I watch Sean. Oh, and Boris is up and walking about.
I heard that. That is really good news. I was scared there for a couple of days.
Yeah, me and you both. But
Yeah.
he's up and out of ICU and walking about.
Good to hear.
I think he'll be out of hospital after the weekend, I should think.
Awesome.
Right. I will leave you to the rest of your callers and watch the rest of the show.
Thank you so much, Denise. I appreciate you staying up, and thanks for the call.
You're welcome. Night, Tiffany.
Night.
She's so sweet. Denise is great. I need to say thanks to Legendary 2017. I said that. Richard Everett. One jolly good follow. Red Pill and Tiffany are a great combo. Thank you for all the hard work and deep diving you do into such pertinent issues. Where we go one, we go all. Thank you for that, jolly good. Doug F610 says, The Pew Sunday with Roseanne Barr and Leo Zagami discussing the occult influence. That should be good. Roseanne's been on Leo's show a couple of times. Filled with Hope says, we should start a good guy list. Kevin Sorbo, Dean Cain, James Woods. That's an excellent idea, Tiffany. You got to bring these people together.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So we've got Cody Daigle. Cody Daigle is our next caller. Gonna be bringing Cody in. You know what? I'm just going to, we're going to get two people in here. And then, all right. So, Cody, I hope I didn't just remove Cody. Cody, if you're watching the show and I accidentally just removed you, please call back in. Sorry about that. They changed everything up here. But caller, you're on the air. Can we get your name?
Yeah, hi, it's Brian.
Hey, Brian, what's going on? What's your question for Tiffany?
Well, Tiffany, I'm sorry I've mentioned so many times tonight about the movie. I Still Believe, but I saw you shook your head in acceptance, I guess, of the movie. It's such a wonderful show. And it was, I'm just a redneck down here in Louisiana, and I was recommended this movie by Jace Robertson. You know, Jace Robertson from Ducks. What's the name of that show? I can't think of it. Ducks.
Yeah, Duck Dynasty.
Duck Dynasty, yes, absolutely. But anyways, he recommended the movie to me. I saw it today, and I swear to God, I'm not a crybaby, but I cried during the movie. It was amazing, and it was just so wonderful to see the love of God and the love of people in that movie. It was wonderful, and I just want you all to, I guess, to needs to saw.
Everybody needs to see this movie. I mean, go watch it. I've heard amazing things about it, and you're not the first person to tell it. People are so starved for just emotion and to actually, have stories that really resonate with us. We've been so starved for so long, and we don't really realize it.
Amen. I've never heard of Jeremy Camp until I saw the movie, which is funny, but it was amazing. And I just thought it was so good. I wanted to recommend it to everybody.
Awesome. I will definitely be checking it out.
All right. Well, thank you. I'll let you go.
All right. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Cody, if I hung up on you, buddy. Yeah, here he is. Let's see if it works this time. Yeah, Zoom just did an update, and everything's kind of backwards. But, Cody, what's up? Thanks for calling back in. Just got to get your microphone on. Are you there? Nope, not yet. Let's see. Jay Britt says, all right, go ahead and shatter my opinion of Denzel Washington. I don't know anything about Denzel. Eddie Mitchell says, thank you both for all that you have contributed to the movement. In the last couple of weeks, earthquakes around the world have been off the charts. I'm not sure if it's a coincidence. I will give you that. In the last 30 days, we've had something like over 100 earthquakes that were all at like a 6.2 miles down, all at like between a 5 and a 7 magnitude. That makes me think that it is not a coincidence. They're all happening at the exact same depth. Very strange. Cody, did we get your microphone working?
Oh, yeah. No, I got it.
Awesome. What's going on, man?
Hey, no, I'm so glad to be able to call in and talk to both of you. You're two of my favorite people I follow. So,
oh, sweet. I appreciate it.
So I just had a couple of ideas I've been kicking around. I kind of wanted to share to you guys, just get to the community to get eyes on. I've been watching Stephen Colbert's Our Cartoon President. It's a show on Showtime, and it kind of follows or drops like every week, like kind of South Park does, like every 5 days. And watching it as somebody with an eyes that watches the cues, like certain words they say and stuff, and like to Tiffany's point about predictive programming, they show like how they wanted to try and do invoke the 25th Amendment, and with Pence and like all these kind of things, and it's just very interesting. And I'd like to try and get eyes on it and see what other people think about it.
I've definitely heard of it. I've seen the previews for it, and I thought that it was like kind of like a fever dream of like everything that they hoped would happen under the Trump presidency.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I wanted to ask about you guys say it's hard to watch pop culture, like knowing these stuffs, and I feel kind of like a jerk, or like something's wrong with me, because like I still kind of like can find the humor and stuff, because like when you have the eyes to kind of see their symbolism and stuff, like you almost kind of have to laugh at it.
I don't feel bad about that. I mean, I will still watch something, and I too will also find the redeeming quality of it. If I'm supposed to be getting a laugh, and it's not some like sick joke, that I think has some horrible deeper meaning. Mostly it's looking at it with no longer virgin eyes. Like I will see somebody's name and I'll be like, okay, what's his name, Weinstein produced this movie, and then I start thinking about what that means. Like, what are the implications of that? Like how many people,
the connections, possibly. Yeah. So I totally get that.
Yeah. Tiffany, any thoughts on that?
I just know that a future is coming, and it's coming very fast. It's coming very soon. There's a lot of great people that I'm working with, that we're working behind the scenes, that we're going to be making you guys a lot of amazing content that you're not going to believe. And we're going to be able to say things like no children were harmed in the making of this movie, and
mean it.
And mean it, and say, here are all the protections that we've put in place. And Hollywood can do whatever it's doing, but here's what we're doing to create content, and not putting agendas in. We're letting artists do what they do. And, there's a better day coming. There really is a better day coming. I promise you all that.
I agree, and I'm a Patreon of yours, and I messaged you. So I definitely want to get involved. I kind of want to do a channel, kind of like about like these different medias and stuff, and like showing the symbolisms is kind of like Easter eggs to kind of help, like maybe get people to kind of like double take and like, oh well, hold on, maybe there might be some, and just kind of once you get that question going in people's head, like they want to dig for themselves.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Sweet.
Well, do you have a channel set up, or is this just something that you're speculating?
I don't. I need to figure out the technical aspects as far as like camera and the programs and stuff to run. But I'm working on scripts and ideas and outlines I wanted to do. But as far as like getting set up, I'm still in the infantile stages. But
well, I learned just by going on YouTube and typing in, what do I need to live stream? What do I need to edit videos? So. And I will tell you, you got to have a little bit of space. I'm really lucky. My webcam is built into my computer, so I've got about 3 feet between me and this green screen. It's a very small room, but as long as I just keep everything right here, I'm good to go. But I'll tell you what, man, it's as easy as just starting with your phone. Okay, like you can start making videos. You know, just do it low tech. Get your name out there. Start putting out content so people can find you, and then as you start building it up, I mean, it took me, about a year for me to get everything that I really felt that I needed to make the quality of shows that I wanted. So, start someplace and then it gets you into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Will do. Well, Thanks so much. I don't want to take up any more time. I know you got callers. Thanks so much, and keep up the great work.
Thank you, Cody. Appreciate you calling in, buddy. We'll see you. Awesome, good stuff. I keep toying around with the idea of doing like a tutorial channel for people on starting their own channel, because people ask all the time. EO2 Dave says, I am anticipation for Boris thanking DJT publicly for sending the HQC that saved his life. How ironic would that be if President Trump shipped over some hydroxychloroquine directly to Boris, and that's what got him out of the hospital? Cue the Music says, how about PureFlix, Christian-based movies? Yes, PureFlix, as far as I know, is a great place to go, and it's all pure content.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, I mean, sure. I think that there's a decentralization coming. So PureFlix can exist. I'm doing things in Atlanta with some amazing people that's, going to be its own thing. It's about decentralization, really. So yeah, absolutely.
Build the ecosystem and people will begin to use it. Damian Croy says, hello from Wisconsin. Hello, Damian. Eddie Mitchell says, PureFlix is the entertainment app you want for godly, spiritual, and uplifting video entertainment. Yes, it's available on your phone. Available on a lot of smart TVs, too. Patty says, you are amazing. Thank you, Patty. Appreciate you. All right, let's see. Who's coming up next? We're going to go with Andrew's iPhone. It's funny sometimes when it's like LG Stylo 4. We'll take that one next. All right, Andrew. Andrew, you're on the air. Waiting for you to get your microphone put on. Yeah, lots of Lance in the chat sent me a link to watch the movie Out of the Shadows. So I will watch it, and I will give you guys, let's see. Oh, somebody says be cautious with PureFlix. Seriously. I don't know. Maybe put it in the chat. Tell people why they need to be conscious about it. Well, Andrew, your iPhone is not working yet, so we're going to go with Austin Tower next. We're going to see if Austin has his microphone working, and whoever gets their microphone working the quickest, we will take that call. Austin or Andrew, who's coming up first, guys? Let's get that call ready. Here's somebody who says, been working in Hollywood for 19 years, was in The Fast and the Furious, helping change Hollywood and wake up Hollywood too. Would love to call. You can Google me, Renee Garcia, casting director. Renee, okay, I will. Yeah, you want to write that down for us?
I feel like we're already connected. Renee Garcia. Are we connected on Twitter?
I don't know. Renee, if you can call into the show and give us some insight, I would love to hear it. Let's look. Renee Garcia, casting director. I think I found your IMDb, Renee. Ooh, Rise of the Empire. Dominion. Is that
is she in Atlanta? She or he?
I don't know. I don't know where she is located. Well, Renee, call in and we'll talk about it. And okay, so it looks like Austin Tower has his microphone muted. Austin, can you unmute? Austin, are you there? Austin? Austin, it looks like it's not working, buddy. All right, so we're going to put you back in the week.
Zoom's getting all these new, having a freak out. So
it is. It's working. It's a lot different. When people are joining the calls, it's kind of buggy. Nothing's really working the same way. Faithful Anon says, yes, I have crew in New York ready to go to work on productions that are about reality, stories that lift us up in Jesus' name. Awesome. Good stuff. Is that Renee? Renee, was that you? Are you Faithful Anon? All right. So let's try Roxanne Granger. Yeah, this is so weird how it takes so long to pump in there.
They're putting in all this new stuff, right? Because I think everything was...
Well, they got all that press about routing things through China.
Yeah.
People were not happy about this. Okay, so people are asking about Oprah. Do you have any information about Oprah? I've seen it in the chat like a million times.
I got very interested in the tweeting and the messages that she was putting out about watching the Michael Jackson documentary at that time. And I thought that was really interesting. And so I looked into, that was the same time that the John of God story was breaking. Of course, she had gone down there and really put him on the map. And it was, her connections with Harvey Weinstein that, to me, was part of why she was pushing the Michael Jackson documentary, because at the same time there was a Harvey Weinstein documentary launching at Sundance, and as soon as they put the Michael Jackson documentary there and she put the spotlight on it, it sucked all the oxygen out. The other one. So for me, I don't know anything beyond the things that everyone else can find, right? Where the dots that we can connect and say, looking at the way that we know that the world works and the way that we're learning that the world works and the power systems that we're seeing be revealed to us. And you look at the connections of anything beyond.
Roxanne?
Hello?
Hi.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Mute the stream in the background.
Yeah. Sorry, I've been clicking buttons all over the place trying to figure out how to unmute it.
No problem. So yeah, what's going on, Roxanne?
Well, I have to ask if I knew how to hide my name. I'd tell you who I am. You would recognize me, but I don't know how to hide my name.
Okay.
So if you could tell me how to do that. But other than that, my public question is about the Kendrick brothers. Do you know anything about them and if they're all up and up?
I don't.
No, who are they? What do they do?
The Kendrick brothers. They've made. I'm hoping everything is good. I love their movies. They've made Courageous.
Oh, the Christian films. The
yes.
What's the other one? Oh, Fireproof.
Yep,
oh yeah, Fireproof. I know that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They did the one. Oh, what was the one where the guy who was the bad guy in Courageous was the lead good guy in the other movie? What was it? Oh my gosh.
I think they're probably great people. I don't know. I haven't met them. I don't know, but I know people who do know them, and
yeah. Well, my vibe about them is very good, but I did want to ask, are you able to tell me how to come in anonymously? I don't know how to
you need to set that in Zoom, in your settings in Zoom. So you have to. I can change your name right now. Hang on, let me see. But it won't be that way next time you call in. We'll just say anon.
Yeah, now I'm out there all over the place tonight, so it doesn't matter tonight.
Yeah, exactly. But what you have to do is set it in your settings on Zoom. So and this is for everybody, when you sign up for your Zoom account, it asks you what your name is, and if you put your real name in there, it's going to use your real name. But if you put in, Red Pill 78 as your name, then that's what shows up.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll play with it, and I'll call you next time under a different name.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks for calling.
All right.
See you. Bye-bye. Okay. Awesome. So I don't think Andrew is going to get his sound working, so we're going to move on to the next caller. And we've got about 17 minutes left, guys. So I had to say it. So let's take this caller right here. I don't know what your name is, but can we get your name for the audience?
Renee Garcia.
Oh, it's Renee.
Hey.
Well, hello, Renee. Thank you for calling. Are you there?
Yeah, sorry. I was actually watching you guys in the background, so I had to put it on pause.
Yeah, there you go.
I know how it works.
Yeah, okay, sweet. So what's going on,
Yay,
Renee?
I've been trying to get a hold of Tiffany for a while. I've been working in Hollywood for like over 19 years.
I felt like we talk on Twitter at one point?
No, we didn't. I was on Twitter, but I had to get off. Like, we work in the industry, and when we're people who can, like, help hire people, you get barraged by people. So I've had to, like, minimize my social media content, if you get that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, oh my goodness, I've been trying to get a hold of you, like, just because, like, I've been around all of this, like, I've had to change my field so much in Hollywood because, like, I used to be a model and actress. I was in the Fast and the Furious, and, you know, Tiffany, you're beautiful, so you know how it is. Like, they try to set you up for, celebrities, you know? Like, they try to groom you to, hey, you're beautiful, you want to be in Hollywood? Oh, let me introduce you to this celebrity, and you quietly date them, you know? There's so many different ways they try to get you in.
The whole thing is so seductive, and at the end of the day, it's so important that we question, why is it this closed power system? Why is there this one closed power system over our stories? What that tells you is that stories are really important, right? That's what that tells us. And two, that closed power system is going to be corrupt, really, as all closed power systems are. And so there's so much seduction. There's so much that goes along with it. There's so much that is required that I didn't know until I found out. And it's not just the actors or the actresses. I'm a writer, and it was required of me. And I'm so excited to create new paradigms that no one has to sell their soul anymore to be taking part in creating art, and set a new standard, for that.
Thank you. I have so many people that, as a casting director, I work with, especially females, that are so thankful that I'm there to, like, protect them. I'm naturally a nurturer. Yeah. And so that's why I was originally in front of the camera. I went behind the camera because I was like, my nurturing ability will help more people on that end behind the scenes, because there's so much, like, that, I mean, we know how people get parts in movies. Like, it's literally, I'm trying to spread the message. I just got interviewed today earlier for actors, like, letting them know how it really is in Hollywood, that all the doors are closed and there's gangsters running Hollywood, and all the lead parts in movies are flipped by the top tier agencies. It's not given to new agents or new actors. You never even get to see that. You're lucky if you're an extra on one of those movies, So I'm trying to, like, help people know that there's a hierarchy, like, it's a level of ego and how much power you have, and what agency you're with, and that's how you're going to be exposed and seen. And then they want you to, like, go to all these extra after the dark parties or these networking parties, they call them, and it's not. You walk in and it's nefarious. You walk in and you're like, you feel like the biggest piece of meat, and you're, like, trying to be a giver of creative content. That's it. Like, can't we just, like, every actress and actor I know is like, can't we just go out and be creative? Like, how come we have to sell our souls or our bodies to, like, do what we want to do, create content,
Yeah. No, it's just absolutely time for all of this to end, and it is ending with it being exposed in conversations like this, where people can know that this is what really is going on, and it can't go on, and particularly too with the children. I mean, it's just unacceptable on every level, and it's completely accepted in Hollywood, all of this child abuse. And you've got all of these adults who are very famous actors and actresses. No one's standing up for the children. Why? Right? Even, actresses will get blacklisted, right? But no pedophiles ever get blacklisted in Hollywood. They go out into jail and back to the set of, Nickelodeon or Disney, wherever, and it's like, no more. Like,
they've
insane.
They've essentially taken over the system and embedded themselves. And then you have people who have been compromised, and then other people who've been compromised or participated in horrible acts, and they all protect each other. Well, Renee, I want to say thank you for your call. We've got like 10 more people I want to try to get through. Did you have any last thoughts?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Let's protect the children, protect the adults, protect the creatives, everyone. Like, they're trying to take our freedoms away to even be creative these days, and that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for your call. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, Renee,
Thank you for your time.
Let's get connected. We can connect by email if you'd like to do that.
I'm not afraid like you. I'll admit who I am. Renee Garcia Casting at gmail.com.
Okay.
You can find me on Instagram, Renee Garcia Casting Director. I'm not afraid like you are either. This is done. We're part of the movement. We just want to do what God gave us to do, is be creative and be storytellers. We shouldn't have to have these things going against us,
Yeah.
All right. Well, we need brave people like you ladies out there speaking out. Thanks for your call, Renee. Appreciate you.
All right. God bless both of you. Prayers
bless
on
you as
both
well.
of you guys. Stay safe.
Yep. You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye-bye. All right. So people want to know if you have any further thoughts on Oprah other than what you've said about, just knowing what was public.
Well, I mean, I could tell that thing that came up a couple of weeks ago was weird, right? It's such an important thing for people to start to get familiar with an operation that was just had like operation written all over it to me, that we were all being baited.
I thought maybe too.
People were sending me that right, first thing in the morning. I saw it 15 hours before it became like a big thing. And I was like, nope, I'm not touching it, because I can't verify any of this. Nothing in this video tells me anything. I'm actually from South Florida. I was born and raised in Boca Raton. And I was like, I don't even know where that is. I don't even know what they're talking about. Like this, none of it made sense to me. So I think that is she connected to these things? Well, I mean, I have no idea. She's connected to John of God, right? John of God.
Tangentially, at least.
John of God was selling he was farming babies and selling them around the world. This is one of the biggest stories that's ever come out, the John of God story. And yet it sort of just got
whisked
go back
away.
and look at that story. Do you think, and then ask yourself, do you think that you could have gone to his ranch, his compound, and not known there were 600 teenage girls enslaved, being impregnated? I don't know. I don't know how big the place is, right? So, but yet, why go there? Why go there? Why prop up this guy? Why make this guy an international guru?
He was clearly a fraud too, I mean, pretending to cut chicken parts out of people and not healing them. So
it's satanic. I mean, the whole thing is absolutely satanic. And so that's like I said, I know what everybody else knows, but you got to really think about what we know and kind of put it all together and, ask yourself who these people really are. And we have had these false idols. These people are false idols. And just the fact that they're idols to begin with, people don't need to be idols, and this whole system has got to go. So I don't know anything other than those things that everybody knows, but yeah.
All right. We also had somebody asking about Isaac Kappy. I knew Isaac Kappy. I thought that he was a good guy. Did you know Isaac, and do you have any opinions on him?
I knew him. Yeah, I thought he was a good guy as well. I was always, I guess I would say frustrated at his really just saying so many things and putting himself in so much danger. It just felt reckless almost to me. But this was his, way, and this was his mission, and he felt very strongly about everything he was doing. I didn't have any of those same experiences that he had. So, I can't corroborate any of that. I believe that, he had a lot of these experiences that he spoke about. And I feel, it's awful. The whole thing is just terrible. It's awful. I mean, I knew him in that we got to know each other a little bit before both of us kind of came public. We kind of coached each other like, okay, you can do it. You can, become public, and the experiences that he had were so different than the experiences that I had. So it's just tragic. It's sad. I hate it.
You know, my impression was that Isaac felt some level of guilt for being a part of that Hollywood machine, even if he didn't participate in any of these terrible things that we talk about. Just the fact that he was involved with people who did, and that he was right in the thick of it without being able to tell, you know, what was happening in front of him or around him at the time. And he felt that it was so important that it didn't matter how dangerous it was. It didn't matter. What was important was to get the information out and to wake people up, and he certainly did that to many, many people. Heaven, I actually have a couple other ones here. So, Austin, I put the password in the chat. Quanfire says Yellowstone volcano earthquakes masks connect. I don't know anything. I mean, are you referring to the earthquakes that have taken place for the last 30 days in the Yellowstone volcano? I don't know if that has anything to do with each other, but we are overdue for an eruption of that super volcano. I will say that. Carl Biff Bonifiglio says birds of a feather flock together. That's right, they do. So it's not implausible to think that Oprah had some level of knowledge about John of God. And Heaven on Earth, any word on Robin Williams and his involuntary suicide? I personally haven't. Do you know anything about that? Any insight?
No, I mean, no.
No.
I think that these people have lived with the knowledge of all of this stuff. They've lived with guilt. They've lived with the knowledge of knowing. I don't think you're in Hollywood for 30 years and you don't know about, just for example, the child abuse, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody knows about that. And so, you know, his death was absolutely suspicious. It was absolutely fishy, but you saw this decline. He was definitely on a decline. Mm-hmm. He was sick, maybe. He was, you know, depressed. He was having substance abuse problems. I have no idea. But I think that he saw things that none of us would and knew things maybe that none of us would want to know and see.
Right. All right. LG Stylo is in the room, but still connecting to audio. We're going to go to Anita's iPhone and try that. You guys, we've only got 4 minutes left, so if you have any other questions, you want to get those in the chat. We've got LG Stylo. You're on the air. Can we get your name?
Hi. Yeah, this is Mike.
Hi, Mike. What's your question for Tiffany?
Yeah, just briefly, I really like your work. I'd gotten into seeing you maybe about 6, 7, 8 months ago, and I saw that a lot of your major YouTube videos aren't there anymore. A lot of your exposés on George Clooney and people like that, and I really enjoyed them, but they're not there anymore. That's number one. I was just wondering if there's an avenue where we can go and see those. Mm-hmm. And number two, one of my long-time conspiracy theories about, say, Michael Jackson, for example, was that basically he's a setup for an entire industry. And maybe I think he falls along the lines of maybe Keanu as well, meaning being in it as a kid, more a victim than a perpetrator, and being used as a setup guy, particularly like for someone like Oprah. I think Oprah definitely used him as a cover for Weinstein and other people. So I think he has his reputation. In other words, if there's molestation going around in Hollywood over the past 30 years, well, it was Michael Jackson. The rest of us were all innocent. Mm-hmm. And I think it was kind of like advise him, and we're all innocent. And I think it was actually the other way around. But that's basically, just wanted to get your opinions on that.
All right. Well, appreciate your call. I'm going to go ahead and mute you so we can get Tiffany's thoughts, and then we're going to go to the last caller, Anita. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
One of the craziest debates on the internet is how people feel about Michael Jackson. Mm-hmm. If you even wade one toe into this debate, you've got people who are, and I don't know if there's a lot of bots, if there's a lot of just misinformation, a lot of intelligence. This is to me, that's strange. That there's this many people that feel this strongly this way and this way. It's the most polarizing debate. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know. But I tend to think that there's a real possibility to what you're saying. It's shocking to me if you go look at how Paris, his daughter, feels about Oprah. Like, go look at her tweets about Oprah. She calls her a snake and all these things. And that's just open source information. That's just not any intel I know that anybody doesn't, you can't see. I think that it's absolutely possible that, he was a victim as well. He is a great distraction, a lot like Harvey Weinstein, right? Like Harvey Weinstein, yes, he was a monster. Yes, he did all these things, but he's not the only one. And they really want you to focus on the one, right? So I agree that, there's some absolute possibility with that. And for my YouTube channel, I am sort of sometimes cleaning house, so moving videos around, things like that. The truth that I've told and the information that I've compiled together, I have taken a lot of heat for that. Things that I don't share because that's not, I choose to do these things, but it comes at a cost, to myself. And so I tend to move things around to avoid the censors and take things down sometimes when I'm getting harassed about it. And
for safety's sake.
Yeah. So you guys I want you guys to learn how to do this research so you don't, so you don't need me to do it. Right. I'm a filmmaker. I'm a screenwriter. That's what I'm moving into now, and I'm building. So I don't like journalism. I don't like doing it. I love you guys. I want to put these things together for you, and I want to tell the truth. But God put me here to tell stories, and that's I'm transitioning really into that so that you guys don't have to have no content. You guys don't have to have you can have stories that fill your soul. So just so you guys know, I'm moving more into that at this time. So
you're going to finish taking down Hollywood, which is what I want to see.
Gotta finish the job. And just to create an alternative so that people can really have a meaningful choice,
All right. Well, caller, thanks for your call. I appreciate you, buddy. We're going to take one more caller. That's Anita. You're on the line, Anita. Can you say hello?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome. What's your question for Tiffany? We're right at the end of the show.
Yep. This is Dr. Anita, by the way.
Oh, Dr. Anita.
We're totally T.
Welcome.
I've been hard at it here, Tiffany. I actually am I've been doing a couple 20-hour days. And I have to tell you, the industry that you're in, I'm on the side where we're going to be able to take you to 200 countries with security. And you're going to be able to monetize yourself about 5 times what you're doing right now. So Red Pill, you're going to have to get with me later. I have been in the lab. That's why I'm not on all the time. And it's 10 o'clock in Denver. This is the earliest night I've had in days. We are also going to be helping the people who really need help. We also work with the sex trafficking solutions Tony and I do at Totally T. I have to say, I got on here tonight and I'm trying to unwind because I started with solutions, Tiffany, of how are we going to get money to people who need it now. And we're dealing with people that don't want good to happen because they're wanting to find out how they can line their pockets in this opportunity moment for their lives. And we have people who are hurting so bad, people who have been rescued who need a new life. And I don't have to watch my words where I'm going, and I want to help you guys get there. Uncensored. It's going to have a sentinel to protect people. It's going to actually have a reciprocal economy. And I know I probably don't make a lot of sense to you at this moment.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I am so excited to let the rest of the world know that there is a paradigm shift where we're all going to be able to do the great things God's made us for. Yeah. We're going to be able to live our passion, make a difference, and have a decent life. And I so appreciate what you guys do here. And I didn't plan on doing this tonight. And I was just like, I got to tell the world because I've been working so many hours, probably 80 hours this week on this thing.
Wow.
And so I just thank God he's risen, his son is risen, and we all get to be part of the solution. And so Red Pill, get with Totally.
Yeah.
Let's get this information to the world. And I know you're funding good things. And I know, Tiffany, there's a place for you to actually have a TV channel that you can actually, in the next week, have a pay-per-view to the world for all the great work you're going to put out.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's a new platform. Yeah.
It sounds like sounds amazing.
And I'm grateful for your time. Thanks for your passion. Keep running and blessing. I'm checking in when I can. I watch you on the backside sometimes around 1 o'clock in the morning when I'm trying to wind down.
Sure. Well, Dr. Anita, thank you for your service. I appreciate it. And we will talk to you soon. Have a great night.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thank you. All right. Think we've got so there's a new platform that that Tony and Dr. Anita are a part of. And it's not just a streaming service, but it has a lot of other options available to it. There's like a marketplace and like a bank account. It's actually really cool. Like the things that they strung together to make this into just like an all-in-one place. Need to say thank you to Marianne Rodriguez and Son of a Green Card. Last question. Besides oversight, what role did the clowns play in financing the films and actually inserting the people, handlers, who collect dirt to push their clown narrative? So they're actually funding films, right?
Well, so there's an OIG. There's the OIG report that I sent to Red Pill. It's a CIA's own OIG report that came out that says as much. That says it examines the relationship between the clowns and Hollywood, and it's in total, and it examines that whole relationship. And there are so many things that they found within this report, which basically one of them is there's no oversight in this relationship. There's money they're supposed to be, if they're going to give assets, if they're going to give advice, if they're going to do this, if they're going to let you shoot at Langley, it's not supposed to be free, right? Because you can't shoot for free at other locations, right? So it would be incentivizing this relationship, which is exactly what's happening. And it says as much in that OIG report, that there's no oversight in this relationship and that money is, one of the problems. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Sweet. All right. Well, Tiffany, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. I want to say thank you to everybody in the audience. Thank you to my mods. Thank you to everybody who sent the super chats and the regular chats. Thank you to the callers. Tell people where you would prefer that they find you. I put your website in the description of the video, and then Slipster's Videos has also been sharing your YouTube channel. But what's best for you?
Yeah, people can go subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's great. Twitter is probably the best place. I don't, put a lot of content out except mostly on Twitter. So that's at Tiff_Fitzhenry. My website is a great place to find me uncensored. Subscribe there. I do have a Patreon for people who appreciate my work and want to help me out in that way. So those places are the best places to find me.
All right. Awesome. Well, we will be catching up with you in the very near future. Hopefully there's big things in store, and I hope you can come back and tell us about it. So thank you very much, Tiffany, for coming here tonight. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News for Friday Night Livestream. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.